What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So today we are set to see whatever Gearbox has in store for us, which we assume is going to be some Borderlands stuff. We'll find out later on today, though. The stream's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll talk more about all of the teasing and stuff that's been happening because another tease has taken place. Talk about that a little later on in the show. We also have to take a look at Media Create because this is probably the last week that we'll have actual numbers, as it looks like they're going to stop sharing the information. We'll still have Famitsu, and then Wolfenstein Youngblood got a release date, and it is coming to the Switch. So we're going to go over all of that today, guys. As always, enjoy these videos. Make sure to hit the like button. It does help out. We're actually going to start today with PlayStation Plus for April, as of course every month Sony and Microsoft do games packaged with their subscription services for online, whether it's PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold. And April looks like Sony's going to bring a couple of games that I have actually not played yet, so I might check them out. Depends, because there's a lot of stuff happening right now in games, but they put out a full trailer, as you're seeing here. One of those games is The Surge, and the other one is Conan Exiles. These will be able to be downloaded in April, and then, of course, if you have them downloaded, or at least just, I guess, purchased, quote-unquote, in April, you'll be able to go back and download them again. The Surge is probably the one out of those two that I would at least be curious to check out, just in case we do get a Surge 2 or something. And now that I'm playing Sekiro, I feel like I can play anything at this point since I'm almost done Sekiro. So I might actually be checking out The Surge. We'll see, because for now I'm stuck on Sekiro, and then Yoshi, which we're actually talking about in a second, is also coming up tomorrow. Actually, while we're on Yoshi, let's just actually talk about that real quick, because Metacritic did put out all the reviews and everything. Of course, under embargo, all the reviews come in, Metacritic puts it all together, and it got an 80 so far. And honestly, for Yoshi, that's actually not bad. That's about what I was thinking it would be, and it sounds like from a lot of reviews, people were having a good time with it, and it looks like it's going to be a fun platformer to pick up. So at an 80, and places like, just as an example, GameSpot giving it an 8 out of 10. They said that the creative design makes each level a delight to explore. But then they also say some of the best ideas never develop past their initial incarnations. So, okay, yeah, I'm actually looking forward to trying it out. I don't think it's going to be super difficult after playing the demo, but it could be like Mario Odyssey, where it's pretty easy to play through, but then you have these very difficult levels and stuff after the game ends, or maybe there are just difficult levels that are kind of offshoots and optional even. So I'm at least looking forward to checking out. I did at least like the art style and things they were going for there, and the creativity around kind of the environments. So either way, I think I'll have some fun with it, even if it's just for a day or two. Also, check this game out here. It's called Cyber Shadow. It's from Yacht Club Games. They put out a full trailer for it, announcement and everything, and it looks kind of like The Messenger. It's like an 8-bit style ninja 2D platform action game, kind of like a Ninja Gaiden almost. And I was looking at this, I said, wow, that looks really, really cool. Looks like an old throwback, kind of like a Ninja Gaiden, but maybe not quite what The Messenger was. That had like time travel and stuff. I need to see a bit more about Cyber Shadow. It's actually $14.99. It's available for pre-order, and it's coming to the PS4, the Xbox One, the Switch, and Steam. So pretty much everywhere, and it is, as they say, a throwback to the 8-bit experience, where it's gonna be difficult, as we would expect. They also say a gripping story through in-game and through animated cinematic story scenes, which they showed a bit in that trailer, where they had like the explosion and like their hands and stuff, and they did have some animated shots there. So I'm looking forward to it. Gotta see a bit more, but I'm still kind of in the mood after playing The Messenger for another 8-bit style Ninja Gaiden action adventure game. Also, as a quick update to yesterday's story, where we talked about EA having 350 layoffs at least, there could be more. It looks like they're also closing down their Japan office and their office actually in Russia. So they're actually shuttering locations now as well to cut costs or save money. They do say that they're not going to be shrinking their presence in Japan when it comes to game releases. Just in general, just I guess just consolidating and shutting down areas they don't think they need offices in. Apparently, they're going to keep their larger European office and everything, but in Russia, that has to apparently go, and then, of course, in Japan. So EA is going through a bit of a struggle right now when it comes to, I guess, just their studios in general. They're cutting costs, so things must not be going great behind the scenes for them. And we'll find out a bit more in their report next month for their fiscal quarter. Then, guys, some of the quick news out of the way. Let's get into the bigger stuff. We're going to start right away with Wolfenstein Youngblood. Now, we, of course, saw this last E3. We weren't really sure what it was going to end up being in terms of systems or anything. We figured Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and everything. The question was always the Switch version, because of course Wolfenstein 2 came to the Switch, Doom came to the Switch, Doom Eternal's coming to the Switch, so we kind of figured, but we didn't really know. We saw listings go up that were then pulled back down, but it has been confirmed that it's going to the Switch, and we have a release date for it, along with a very sizable story trailer. It looked like it's going to be kind of fun, kind of campy, but fun. It's actually coming out July 26th, and it's going to have a couple different versions that you can pick up. You can pre-order this deluxe edition, have a key that you can then give to someone to then, I guess, join your game and play with you, it seems. And then they have a bunch of other things, including the Legacy Pack and other things you can get from pre-ordering with places like GameStop, for example. But the deluxe edition is $40, the regular one is $30. But this is still really good news for Switch owners who may have been concerned that this would miss their platform. But it seems like, at least right now, Bethesda is really on board with the Switch. For the most part. I mean, Starfield, of course, and the next Elder Scrolls, who knows when those are even coming out. We kind of think they might, at least Starfield might be at E3 this year. That actually just might be next-gen consoles altogether, PlayStation 5 and Scarlet and everything. So that probably won't be a Switch game, obviously. This is the current incarnation of the Switch to be right now. Maybe down the line, because Skyrim went everywhere. But Youngblood looks pretty fun. I mean, it's going to be a fun co-op experience. They also said on Twitter that you can play single player as well. So if you're concerned that you need somebody to play with, kind of like a way out, not necessarily. It sounds like you can still play it completely single player. So I'm looking forward to it. I like Wolfenstein. It's a fun run and gun shooter. We don't have to think a ton, and this looks like it's going to be more like that. Of course, you are playing as the main character's twin daughters, so it's going to be fun. It was definitely a bit more campy and a little more comical than I thought it would be, but hey, it's Wolfenstein. It's supposed to be out there. If you played the second one, it just gets off the rails at one point. Literally, but it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it, and that's coming out July 26th. Next up, let's talk about the Media Create sales charts. Now, these are the charts that rank week to week for physical sales in Japan, and the thing about the Media Create is it seems to be going away. They're actually going to start selling that information to analysts, bigger companies who want that information, and then I guess they'll give us kind of like what the UK does, where they give us like a ranking, a top 10 or something without any type of numbers. However, we still have Famitsu, so I'm thinking after this week we'll probably just shift over to Famitsu and start using their numbers instead. So it'll be a bit of a weird period there where we kind of have to adjust numbers and stuff from, for example, this week. But let's take a look at the top 10, because Sekiro absolutely owned this past week, because remember, that came out on Friday, right? So it only had a couple days in the Media Create sales charts, but at the top on the PlayStation 4, 157,548. Below that, we have Super Robot Wars at 88,093. So two PS4 games actually took the top two spots in the top 10. Right below that was Super Robot Wars T on the Nintendo Switch, actually selling about half, almost exactly half of what the PlayStation 4 version did, which is kind of interesting. Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon Everybody below that at 28,000. And then from there, we have the Scion of Arland at 27,734. That's also on the PS4. Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon below that, 21,041. That's on the PS4. So the PS4 actually had quite a few spots in the top 6 here. After that, we start getting into the evergreen titles from Nintendo with Smash Bros. Ultimate, Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, then Devil May Cry 5, and then Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Moving over to the hardware, we have the Switch at the top, 56,000 units, almost 56,001. The PlayStation 4 below that, 34,895. And then the 3DS below that, 7,943. The Vita is on its way out. We've talked about this. They cut production. Only 376 have sold. That's down from 870. Very soon, the Vita will just not be on these charts anymore, and that'll just be a spot that's gone. And that's kind of the way it is, because Sony is pretty much done and moved out of the handheld market, even in Japan, where it actually was still kind of being supported. The Xbox One at 91 units. So the Xbox One hasn't really been growing much. It's been regressing quite a bit. But the Switch is now at 7.749 million units. By the way, this past week pushed the PlayStation 4 over 8 million lifetime sales. That is a lot of systems. Now, I know the Switch is catching up to it, but for a home console that is not at all a portable, even a little bit, that's actually a pretty big number for them in Japan. I'll be curious to see what the PS5 can do next generation with consoles falling off a bit. I mean, this is sold less than the PS3. I'm sure the PS5 will probably sell less than the PS4 in Japan, and the Switch is rolling along. So again, it's not going to be too much longer. And when we shift over to the Famitsu, I think the gap is even smaller, I think, between the Switch and the PlayStation 4. So we'll be talking about it pretty soon, actually. Might even be before E3, where the Switch passes the PlayStation 4 in Japan. It just kind of depends on how the releases kind of happen as we go along here, but certainly when we get into the summertime, when the Switch really starts hitting its stride with a ton of games from then till Christmas, it's going to get kind of out of control. The Switch will kind of grow exponentially going into the holidays. Very cool, by the way, to see Sekiro at the top there. Massive sales. I have to see how it does in the MPDs, for example, but yeah, Sekiro is off and running, and for FromSoftware, who has been growing pretty quickly. Every release, it seems like they're getting a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and becoming mainstream, and it's exciting stuff to see FromSoftware, kind of where they started to where they're really pushing now with their very difficult Soul-style games that are really being embraced by the gaming community. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Sekiro is awesome. I'm really having a good time with it. I'm just about done, so it's exciting stuff there. You should check it out if you haven't, but keep in mind, it's not an easy game. It's a game where you're going to play a lot, you're going to die a lot, but when you do eventually beat that boss and then the game, the feeling of accomplishment is amazing. Next up, let's talk about a dock that Hyperkin announced. It's for the Switch, and it kind of gave me a bit of an idea for some things Nintendo can do with their own Nintendo Switch dock. Check this out. Here's actually the picture of it. This is from Hyperkin. It's called the Retron S64 console dock for Switch. So Hyperkin's making these and shipping these out now for $40. So yeah, it's a bit less. Now, you guys know how I kind of am with third-party docks. I might get this just to check it out because, you know, with docks and bricking and everything, I'm still like kind of on the kind of hesitant about it. We'll say that, right? On the fence about picking these things up. But it is, of course, a 64-bit era shape and color, has TV mode, has all the ports, USB ports, and everything that you would need. It does come with a charger, which again, I don't know about that one, but it does have a switch in the middle that lets you go between charging in tabletop mode and then playing through TV mode. But the biggest thing I like is, of course, the translucent design and color scheme, where it's that translucent green like a Nintendo 64 system was back in the day. I would really like to see Nintendo kind of do something like that. That'd be really cool. Now, of course, as some people I'm sure are pointing out, you would then know that the dock really has not much at all in it, and that might cut down on people's perception of value there when the thing's like $80 or something, but I like the idea of playing around with the old translucent colors that we used to get for the 64, right? Where we had everything. We had like a blue, a green, a purple, a gray, and they were all like this translucent see-through color. And I really like that. Maybe we really need to do that and have a special edition run of them and just put out different dock designs, I guess. I mean, people like to dress up their dock, for example. People buy the special edition ones when they can and when they're available. So Nintendo should really double down on that. And now I think about it, we really haven't had a lot of Joy-Con designs recently either, right? I assume there's going to be one like straight up for like a Fire Emblem and stuff, maybe sold separately maybe, but like, when was the last time we had like a solid color release that was new? It's been a while. I feel like in the second half of this year we'll have a bunch of them, but definitely the translucent colors from the N64 era would be really cool for the dock. And our last bit of news, let's talk about Gearbox, because they are going to be kicking off PAX East later on today. It's very exciting for a lot of Borderlands fans because we pretty much know Borderlands 3 is going to be there. That's going to be their reveal. We don't know much outside of that. They put out a teaser trailer to get people hyped. It sounds like they're going to be announcing quite a few games, though. It's not just going to be Borderlands 3. We think like a Borderlands port of some kind is, for example, going to make its way to the Switch. There's like a Borderlands remaster. It's probably a Bulletstorm game. There's a lot of stuff happening here, but this is actually the teaser they put out going into this event. It's interesting. It doesn't really tell us much, but it's Mask of Mayhem, and it just says Borderlands teaser trailer. It jumped to like the top of trending on YouTube, and people are going absolutely crazy right now. Now, of course, that Gearbox PAX East panel is going to start 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and I think people are just really excited. It's been a while since we've had a Borderlands game. It's been years and years, so the idea to have what I'm hoping is just a single-player, offline looter shooter with all of the online live service looter shooters, maybe that's what's exciting to me. Because then I don't have to play like a Division 2 or a Destiny or an Anthem to get a looter shooter in. Borderlands is a looter shooter, like straight up. It is the looter shooter from forever ago now. So I'm ready for it. I like the second one. I actually like the first one. A lot of people didn't like the first one as much since the second one came out, but I like the first one. Maybe it's nostalgia, I don't know. But the second one was better. So I can only imagine the third one is just going to play off the strengths of the second one and kind of lean into it. So it's going to be fun. But we got to at least see what we have here. Platforms, release date, everything. I'm hoping Borderlands 3 is this holiday and it's on everything if they can. But we'll see what happens. Just make sure you tune in at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'll make sure you guys are also up to date tomorrow in Newswave. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. It really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it is Wolfenstein, Youngblood. Are you excited that it's coming out pretty much dead center of the summertime, right at the end of July? Actually, I think that's the same day as Fire Emblem, I think, too. So for Switch owners, you might be picking up both or just one. You'll have to let me know what you think about that. And if you already have someone you can play co-op with and everything, it's exciting stuff there. Also, let me know what you think about Borderlands and if you're expecting any big reveals today outside of a Borderlands 3. Maybe they have something else up their sleeves there. It's gonna be fun. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.